If one has a learning disorder, is it mandatory to learn the prayer?
One has a learning disorder, it depends on what the nature of the learning disorder is, right? And responsibility, Allah does not make one responsible for more than one is able, but it doesn't mean that Allah does not make us responsible, right? There's two separate things, right? So for example, if someone has trouble learning through reading, for example, like if someone's blind, are they not morally responsible to learn how to pray? No, because they can still hear. So you learn it in a manner that you are able, right? Someone may have a bad memory, but there may be a way for them to learn in a manner that they can retain and review, so that they're able to retain what they know, right? So in those specific circumstances, one learns. And also the other aspect is that part of the lack of knowledge in our times is people make the religion much more difficult than it needs to be. That what is the prayer? Sometimes people give converts like a 500-page book on prayer. This is your guide to the Muslim prayer. You ask the person giving the guide, do you do all those things? Say no. Then why did you give it to this new Muslim? Or someone who wants to start practicing their deen. Right? Which is why, the basic prayer, if you ask the Hanafi, said that you can teach it within a couple of minutes. Imam al-Ghazali would argues that it may need a little more than the beginning of the time for it to be taught soundly, but either way, it doesn't take very long. Okay? I heard from one of the students of Habib Omar that once they were traveling with him in one of the African countries, and by the roadside there was this man standing, he was waving, and this man had just become Muslim. They started talking to him, and they're headed to the airport actually. He said, can I come with you? He said, yeah. So I have a question. So I became Muslim, I don't know how to pray. So what do I do? So Habib Omar said, come with me. So Habib Omar took him to the washroom. Said, this is the wudu. And he did just the fard wudu. Even though one would know, someone learned it like Habib Omar bin Hafiz, he does even the subtle sunnahs and adab. We did the basic wudu. Said, can you do that? Said, show me. And he sort of coached him through it. Said, good. These are the things you have to wash and you have to wipe your head. Can you remember that? Said, yes. Said, okay. Now we need to go and pray. So find yourself a clean place. Do you know which way the sun rises? Say yes. You have to face in that direction. Okay. So you face in that direction, in a clean place, any place will do. And this is what you do. How do Muslims begin? And he sort of coached him through it. And literally it took him like 2 minutes to explain the wudu, a couple of minutes to explain the prayer, and that's it. And said, now, do you know any Muslims? Yes? Go and learn the Fatiha from them. This is the first chapter of the Quran. Very easy to learn. Can you do that? Said yes. In the meantime, do this. Can you do that? Yes. So let's do it together. So he prayed Asr with Habib Omar and Maghrib with Habib Omar. Right? So he coached him that. He raised his voice just a little bit so he could hear it. Said, would you be able to do that on your own? I said, can you practice once just to? And then they prayed Maghrib together again. So he prayed within literally an hour and a half maybe. But of that, the instruction, that's the level of detail. Right? Our religion is not difficult. Right? وَلَنْ يُشَادَّ دِينَ أَحَدٌ إِلَّا غَلَبَ. Then no one will make the religion difficult for themselves except that it'll overwhelm them. But if you make it difficult for others, it'll not just overwhelm them, it'll turn them away. Right? So it's not meant to be complicated. Right? It's not meant to be complicated.